Diddy trial. Oh my God. New week, new prescription for Zofran. I'm telling you, I'm all out after last week. I've never felt more queasy. The details are gut-wrenching. The prosecution unleashed their bunker buster last week, Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex. They went for the knockout punch. Should they have started maybe a little lighter with Lil Rod or one of these other vile allegations and then built up to her? So Diddy is he's facing 5 criminal counts against him. 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. So last week they unleashed the big damning witness, Cassie Ventura. Today kicks off week 2, and it was about corroborating her accounts, and for that the prosecution called on 2 witnesses. Dawn Richard, who testified last week that she witnessed Sean Diddy Combs attack his ex-girlfriend, Cassie, with a skillet filled with eggs. The defense tried to undermine her credibility today by highlighting inconsistencies with her statements and her attempts to continue working with Diddy despite the alleged violence that she witnessed. From New York, in a car, she is on the move. CNN's Liz Wagmeister. Liz, it is Elizabeth who brought us the video of Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel with, being beaten by Diddy and dragged in the hallway. So this really, it's the biggest piece of videotape in the whole thing. She's been covering it. She was in court today. Look, they tried to poke some holes in it. What do you think, Liz? Was Dawn Richard, was she credible today? How did that go for her?
Billy, and by the way, I apologize. As you said, I am in a car. This is how life goes, going from the courthouse back to the studio. So I apologize that it's shaky. Dawn Richard, there were some holes in her story. So as you said, her big allegation was this story revolving around this hot skillet that she says that she witnessed Diddy attempting to throw at Cassie Ventura. Well, during cross-examination, the defense comes up and they said, so you said that he attempted to throw the skillet, but in another meeting with prosecutors, you said that he actually hit her with it. Do you remember that? I don't recall. Next question from the defense. You said in one of your meetings with prosecutors that you heard the skillet being thrown, but that you didn't actually see it. And now you're saying that you saw it. Which one is it? I don't recall. So this is pretty typical, Billy. I know you have covered a lot of these cases. When these details, and I don't want to call them small details because every detail matters, but when these details, there can be discrepancies. A lot of these witnesses will say, my core allegation is what I stand behind, which is the fact of the matter is this scene was that there was a hot skillet and Diddy came down the stairs and he was angry and he was attempting to violently hurt Cassie. And then she fell to the floor in the fetal position. And then afterwards, he threatened me and said, don't tell anyone else or else you'll go missing. That's the word that she used on the stand. So again, they definitely chipped away at her credibility. And I have to tell you, I was looking at the jury and the jurors definitely looked like, not all of her story is crystal clear. But again, I do want to make the point that her core allegation that, yes, she alleges that she saw Cassie being physically beat. And yes, she says that Diddy threatened her not to say anything. Those she stands behind.
But overall, I mean, the defense says, wait, you met with government investigators, prosecutors 8 times over this mess and changed your story at least 4 times. That's terribly damaging. It sounds to me like as much success as the prosecution had with Cassie Ventura, nowhere near the amount of what I would say amounts to any success with Dawn Richard. Is that what you witnessed?
I wouldn't say that they didn't have any success with her, but it's absolutely damning. I do not know if they needed this witness, Billy, to tell you the truth. And the reason why I say that is because the next witness, which was one of Cassie's former best friends, Carrie Morgan, she was an impeccable witness. Her story was crystal clear. She also said that she saw Cassie abused on numerous occasion. And the point, yes, that's her right there. The point of bringing these people on the stand, like Carrie Morgan, like Don Richard, these former friends of Cassie Ventura, is so that they can corroborate her account that she was allegedly physically abused. We shouldn't say allegedly, because the video that our team broke at CNN shows that she was, but allegedly abused on more than one occasion, which is what Cassie testified to. So the point of bringing them on there is to corroborate that account. And Dawn did that, but not without, again, some cracks in her story. And anytime that, sorry, Billy, go ahead.
So Carrie Morgan, what's interesting about it, their relationship ended like 8 years ago, which is actually beneficial. I mean, she's like, we're not really active friends right now. I don't really want to be here. The fact that she was called, you could see the reluctance in her, and it actually lends more credibility. It's not a friend doing a solid for a friend. I mean, she's like, I don't even hang with Cassie anymore. I don't even want to be here. And she's saying,
and that's what she said. She was like, I was subpoenaed. I do not want to be here. I left this chapter of my life behind. So you're 100% right, Billy. That gives her more credibility because she really has no reason to be there.
And she said that Diddy choked her and beat her up with a coat hanger, and that Diddy paid her off $30,000 not to sue. She's probably mad because she got $30,000, and Cassie's just got $30 million, or 20 from him and 10 from the Intercontinental Hotel.
And this is interesting, Billy. What she said is that Cassie met up with her, and Cassie is the one who said, here's an NDA. Like, she literally says that Cassie presented her with an NDA and said, sign this and you're getting $30,000. Don't talk about this instance where, where you were allegedly beat over the head with a coat hanger and choked. Now, Carrie Morgan said on the stand that this was not Cassie's money. She said this was Diddy's money. Cassie was essentially the intermediary, and that is why they're not friends. Effectively, what Carrie Morgan was saying was that her ex-best friend, Cassie, her best friend of 17 years, was so controlled by this man that she chose not to be supportive of her when she says that she was physically beaten, and that she gave her an NDA from Diddy to silence her.
She basically, Carrie Morgan, ended up doing what this whole next phase of the trial we're going to get into is what Diddy had all the people around him doing, cleaning up the mess. And Cassie was basically a foot soldier in cleaning up the mess with Carrie Morgan. And now we're gonna meet all the other foot soldiers that did what Diddy was. It's interesting that Cassie is the ultimate witness. She's the ultimate victim, but she's also, in this case, one of his foot soldiers.
And look, that is what the defense is going to be trying to say, right? And by the way, sorry that this car is so rocky, Billy. Again, I'm on the move.
It's New York.
Yes, the defense is going to be saying she was part of this. Like, she was part of this enterprise, so-called enterprise. But remember what Cassie said at the end of her 4-day testimony, when the prosecutor said, "Why are you here? Why are you here in the criminal trial? You've already gotten paid gazillions of dollars from Diddy. Why are you here?" She said, right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm here to do the right thing. And part of her statement, what she said at the end, was that she has wronged so many people. And it's because of how she alleges she was controlled by Diddy and she was a victim of him. And you know that phrase, Billy, hurt people, hurt people. That's essentially what Cassie is saying, is that she was, under Diddy's control, and that caused her to do bad things. But now that she has been able to have that trauma therapy and realize that she still did bad things, whether or not it was under his control or not. So that is an interesting point, though, here. And I do want to say, though, Carrie Morgan wasn't, yes, it ended their friendship, but she wasn't trying to say, I blame Cassie. She just said very matter-of-factly, we are not friends. But the way that she testified was that she understood that Cassie was the middleman for Diddy, to silence her for Diddy.
And then that famous caught on video hotel beating, which you and CNN got a hold of and are the ones introduced to the world, that after that, did Carrie Morgan allege that that Diddy tried to bust down Cassie's front door with a hammer? Like, right after that video, he just, like, the violence continued as soon as they left the hotel?
Yeah, that's what she said. So she said that Diddy showed up to Cassie's apartment in New York, rather in LA. Carrie Morgan was visiting Cassie from New York, so she was staying with her. And she said that Diddy showed up, was hitting on the door with a hammer, and then left. He was screaming. He left. And then the LAPD showed up to Cassie's apartment because the noise was so loud. They questioned Cassie. They questioned Carrie Morgan. Cassie allegedly had a black eye. That's according to Cassie's testimony and to Carrie Morgan's testimony. But Cassie, according to Carrie, refused to talk to them. And that would line up with Cassie's testimony, Billy. You remember from last week, Cassie was the one who revealed that police did come to her apartment, but she said that at the time she would not give them Diddy's name. She did not want to out him at that point.
Yeah. But there's a history of jealousy between Cassie and Diddy. I mean, Diddy was jealous of Cassie's, relationship or chatting whenever she would talk to Michael B. Jordan. He didn't like that. Mm-hmm. He didn't like Kid Cudi. He was a very jealous, controlling person. But wasn't there some talk that Cassie was also jealous of Diddy?
There was, and hold on, give me 20 seconds. I'm hopping off the car, Billy. Thank you so much. This is literally like you are getting me live from court, Billy.
Give that guy 5 stars. I thought he did a great job.
5 stars for him. This is just what we do. So let me get into a kind of quiet-ish place for you. But yes, jealousy was a part of their relationship, and that is according to the defense. Really, the defense has said throughout this entire time that this is not a sex trafficking or racketeering, that's not what it is. They are saying that this is just a relationship where both people were jealous of one another. They say that Cassie was jealous that she was not the number one woman in his life. They say that was Kim Porter, who of course tragically passed away a few years ago. So they are saying this is all about jealousy, and that she was not trafficked. She was just jealous, and that's why she's now coming after him years later for money, is what the defense says.
Did that land with the jury at all? It's all they have to do is get one person on the jury. They just need one person on the jury to think this doesn't smell so good, and Diddy's gone. I mean, he beats it.
That's right. Or there could be a mistrial, right?
Right.
Now, look,
Either way.
I have to tell you, Billy, it's really hard to tell. This jury is pretty stoic. There's been a few times where we can see some things, but they're pretty stoic. So I honestly cannot tell you if that landed with the jury. But what I will tell you is the defense says this is just a jealous girlfriend, like a scorned ex, basically, who was never number one. But remember, as you said at the top of this conversation, Cassie has come out with horrific allegations. And you cannot excuse that. Even the defense said during their opening statement, you cannot excuse what he did. In their opening statement, it was brilliant, actually, Billy. They came out and they said, this is our client, and he is a domestic abuser, and he's violent, and he's jealous, and he's out of control. But that's not what this case is about. This case is not about domestic violence. It's about sex trafficking. Now, here's where you get the gray area here, is in order to prove sex trafficking, which he faces 2 sex trafficking charges, Billy, they have to be able to prove coercion, fraud, and threats. And what they are doing by showing this pattern of extreme alleged domestic violence is that if you are being abused and violently beaten all the time because he wants you to participate in these freak-offs, then isn't that coercion? You are being coerced into these freak-offs because you are concerned that if you say no, that you will be beaten. So even though, yes, he's not facing a domestic violence charge, this is not a sexual battery case, it's all interlinked. And that's what they need to get the jury to believe and to understand. And Billy, these things can be very hard for jurors to understand because this isn't a random person who was attacked in an alleyway. This is a ex-girlfriend of more than a decade.
Wow. Liz Wagmeister from CNN. She's all over the trial. Stay in touch, will you?
Billy, next time with a better connection, not in a car, I promise you.
Tell your hairstylist he's done an amazing job. I'm saying he, it could be a she, but I don't know. Mine's a he.
It's a she, and I'll pass it along.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks. Thanks so much, Wags. Journalist on the move, Liz. You got to love that. She's hustling all over town covering this trial. Boy, the photos. The jury also saw, photographs that were disgusting. One is Diddy knew that he was going to be arrested, right? So he flew to New York. He knew the government was going to apprehend him. The feds were coming. So he goes to New York. He's got 11 days. He's in the Hyatt Regency Hotel. I don't want to laugh because it's just, but what a psycho sicko is this guy. He brings a bunch of baby oil and all the accoutrements for a full-blown freak-off before they arrest him. Like, no contrition, no like, who am I? What am I doing here? He's like, think I can squeeze in a freak-off before they come for me? That's commitment and a deep level of psychosis. And, I mean, sex addict, that's not even being contested. I mean, he's the first one to say, oh, yeah, that's me. The other one, though, is this photograph of one of the many times he beat Cassie Ventura. Put it up there, and we'll take a look at it. I mean, look at that. That's a deep cut right there. Ugh, it's disgusting. Hard to look at. Anyway, we'll stay on Diddy trial. Diddy trial, this is only day one, so of week 2. So we'll be on it as we go forward. But coming up, got a great guest here. He's had enough of the delays in rebuilding Los Angeles from the wildfires. He's had enough with the homeless problem in Los Angeles. He's a master builder, and he might be the next governor of California. Rick Caruso is going to be with us in just a second. But first, a word from our sponsor here. We're brought to you by LA Golf, the most technologically advanced golf equipment on the market. LA Golf is here to disrupt the game, born from a pro player, the great Bryson DeChambeau, an anti-establishment mindset to make golf more fun. Groundbreaking, and by saying more fun, keep your ball. It's very hard to hit a golf ball. But with this new technology from Bryson, it helps you keep the ball where you can hit it a second time. We're driving forward with LA Golf, giving players creativity, authenticity behind our products, and I stand firmly behind it, so we thank them for that. And now we turn our attention to the legendary Los Angeles real estate mogul, a player in Los Angeles politics, Rick Caruso. Welcome to Hot Mics, sir. You look very handsome today. As always, I'm going to say gubernatorial. You look gubernatorial. Rick, I didn't hear you there for a second, but put up his audio. But Rick, you built the Grove. You built the Americana in Glendale. These are the Commons in Calabasas, the Promenade in Westlake, Pacific Village in the Palisades, Rosewood Miramar in Montecito. These are some really Class A real estate projects. And you know what I noticed? Your name is not attached to any of those, unlike another real estate developer who went on to be very successful in politics. How come you never put your name on it? Why isn't it Caruso Village?
Yeah, Carusoville. Well, I'm sorry my audio went out, but thanks for having me on, Billy. It's fun to be here, and I appreciate the invitation. You know, listen, we're very different people, both in our personal lives and our professional lives, and we handle business a bit differently. But I've had the great fortune of building some incredible properties, and I've got the most amazing team. So it's fun to do. And Rick, we've got a lot more planned.
Well, we mentioned him there for a second, but there's a bit of fear. I noticed a lot of people sort of caving, and business people caving, and a little worried about retaliation from Trump if they don't do certain things. Do you ever, are you worried at all that anything you say he might come down on you with some sort of regulatory bullshit that could really get you in trouble?
I don't give it a second thought. No, listen, I think you got to go live your life and do what's right. And I'm not into bullies or people kicking sand at each other in the sandbox. We keep our heads down. We like to build great projects, get back to the community. The rest of that stuff, I don't have the time for. And I don't know the man. I
never met him.
I met him once briefly.
When he came to town, and he went to Fire Station 69, which is just down from in the Palisades. He visited there. He was brutal to Karen. He was beating up Karen at that point. That couldn't have bothered you too much. But were you in that visit to the Palisades? Did you talk to him?
I did not. I was not out there for that. But I will tell you this, which I said publicly. I'm grateful that he came out. I'm grateful that he was pushing the mayor and pushing other people to move faster. And frankly, I'd wish he'd come back out again and push him some more, because we're not moving as fast as we should. So I think he can add a lot of value. You can't turn your back on the White House. And we certainly shouldn't be in the city or the state, because we need their help. We need the funding, and we need their resources to get these communities rebuilt.
Yeah, and you say we're not moving quickly. I mean, look, and everybody has an interest here, whether you live in Los Angeles or not. Los Angeles is the second largest city in the United States from the largest state in the United States. It is incredibly vital, and everybody in this country watched as Los Angeles burned. I mean, It's probably even more, it's like, wow, Los Angeles, that's where Hollywood and all these places are, and literally watching it burn on TV. I don't think people will ever forget some of those unbelievably searing images, even if you live in Dubuque. But we are moving very, very slowly. And one thing you've done, you've got this project, you have launched something called Steadfast LA. And if you just log on to it, folks, it's Steadfast LA exists to accelerate the rebuilding of Los Angeles by cutting through bureaucracy, mobilizing the expertise of the private sector, which Rick has tons of experience in, and delivering real solutions with urgency and efficiency. It seems to me you lost this mayor, the race for mayor, to Karen Bass, who failed pathetically during the fires and in the aftermath. It seems to me like Steadfast LA is you saying, okay, I may have lost the mayoral election, but I'm just going to be mayor anyway. This is exactly what a good mayor would do, is launch something that involves the private sector, takes the best of the best from wherever you can get it, put it together, and work together and get it done for people.
You got it. You just said it perfectly.
You are the mayor. You didn't lose.
No, I'm not the mayor. I'm not.
Basically you are.
I'm not agreeing with that. But let me tell you, Billy, you know this so well because you would never tolerate this. Could you imagine? And I hope nobody ever forgets those images, because those images were so horrific. But equally horrific was the failure of leadership at so many different levels. The level of incompetence was terrible. And so many people are paying an incredibly dear price for what happened.
Tell people how slowly.
We got to be more demanding. We got to hold people accountable. We got to work hard. We got to lean in, but we have got to force things to happen. And then I'll shut up for a second. But my philosophy was Steadfast. It's a nonprofit. And I've told my team, we have an incredible full-time team that's working on this, and a whole bunch of people who are donating their time and their talent, the best of the best. Just like you said, you reach out, pull the best together. But my attitude is we're going to walk with an elected official, we will walk around an elected official, or we're going to walk through an elected official. But we are moving, and we are going, and we're going to rebuild these damn communities, and we're going to do it quickly and safely, because government alone is not doing it.
Look, it's been 4.5 months almost, and how slowly is it going? I mean, I think I heard something from you the other day that was like 35 building permits have been approved or something in that period of time. Is that right?
Yeah, believe it or not, I think we're up to 50. It's an embarrassment. And what our mayor goes around saying is it's the fastest recovery ever. You don't compare your work to failure. If she's comparing it to other fire areas, they all have failed. Most of them haven't even started reconstruction, like in Maui. So you're taking credit for being better than a massive failure? The test is, how many people have you gotten back into their homes? How many building permits have you had? How many businesses have you reopened? How many jobs have you recreated? Right? Have you controlled the traffic, the logistics? Have you kept it safe? And there's no transparency on what's going on. And people are frustrated, and rightfully so. But we've got a group of people, and we're going to work really hard. And we're going to push this thing. And in Altadena and Palisades and Malibu is devastated too. Mm-hmm. We're going to do everything we can to get people back in their homes or get under construction.
You ran for mayor in 2022. What did that experience teach you? I mean, you outspent Karen Bass tremendously, but were you in an unwinnable race? Is it? Are we entrenched in a certain way in a big, deep blue city like Los Angeles that no matter what, you've got a lot of money you put into it, and you got a guy who's very smart? I mean, you know the ins and outs of regulatory disaster in this city like nobody. I mean, you sat on the top of the commission for LADWP, the police department. You know, the guy that knows where the pipes are all connected, the bones of this city and how it operates, happens to be one of the most successful business people. Like, if that can't win are we entrenched in a way that is just irreversible?
I hope not, Billy. I really hope not, because the city's heading in the wrong direction. We all know that. And the recent polling that we've seen have said that residents believe 70% of the residents that we're heading in the right direction and that Karen Bass is failing. But we do have a very entrenched far left in the city, and that's fine. But what we really need to do is make sure people get out and vote, because I believe, especially after the fires, that people have realized job competency is really important. Common sense is really important. Let's not elect people from an ideology standpoint. Let's elect people because they're competent, have common sense, and can bring people together and move us forward in the right direction. And so, listen, I lost the election. I mean, I accepted that loss. I worked my tail off to try to win. I wanted to be out there and do some good things. But, the timing wasn't right, and for whatever reason. I do hope that more people get involved in this city to move the city forward, though. Otherwise, we're going to keep going down the wrong path.
Is there anything that is going well, like debris removal? There's so much debris. If you look at the overhead shots of Palisades or Altadena, getting all that out of there, and where does that stuff go?
So I will tell you, I think the Army Corps deserves a high five. They've been working their tail off in Altadena, Malibu, and Palisades. They're ahead of schedule, and they're doing a great job. I met with the Secretary of the Army, a recent appointee, very impressive young guy. Met with the generals out there. Our team works closely with them. And so I think they're going to be done months ahead of schedule. Now, here's the challenge, Billy, is not everybody opted in to have their lots cleaned by the Army Corps. So what the mayor and what the county supervisors need to do is right now be encouraging everybody. If you're going to have a private contractor, get them in there now. Let's get cleaned up now and start enforcing that, because what we don't want to have happen is cleanup just lingering on for months and months and months. Now we want to get people starting to rebuild their homes, schools rebuilt, parks rebuilt. We've announced the rebuilding of Palisades Park and raising all the money to do that. I'm having lunch with the leaders of the school district. We want to get the schools reopened, Altadena and in Los Angeles, and the private schools. Get a sense of community again. And then we're going to be reopening our village in the Palisades.
Is that what you do? So if you're rebuilding Altadena or you're rebuilding Palisades, is it about the schools and the municipalities and all the things that we share as a community? You start there and then you get to the homes that are around and build them next?
You got to do it all at once. I'm a big believer that you don't do this from a sequencing standpoint. It's so massive. 700,000 acres has been burnt. And you need a massive logistics plan on how to organize all of this, to get the trucks in and out, to get people in and out. But there's sections of the Palisades, for example, that didn't burn. 70% of the lower Huntington didn't burn. That means you've got to have a plan to deal with people living there.
Right.
While there's construction going on. It all has to be done at once.
Oh my God.
I do think you need the community centers, the parks, the schools to come back, to give people a place to reconnect with their family and friends. But our government, it's really failing us, and too much red tape. And it's a bunch of bullshit that they're saying they've cut all the red tape, because they just haven't. And it's very difficult for people to pull permits in the county and in the city.
So let's say you are mayor. If you were mayor, what would you do right now or in that immediate aftermath? How do you cut the red tape? The red tape's been there forever and it's so much bureaucracy, but how do you just do it? Can you just look at Trump? Look at what Trump's doing. Sorry, but I mean, as president of the United States, some people think it's an overreach, and in many cases it is, but he doesn't care. He fired all the solicitor generals that oversee every federal department. You could go in as mayor and say, you know what? You ombudsman for the whatever department, you're out of here. You don't do anything. Goodbye, and take it over. Is a little bit of that, needed?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
You've got to hold these department heads accountable. You give them the direction and you hold them accountable. And if they can't get it done, you have to fire them. We've got the lady who heads up Department of Water and Power is still holding her job. She was the one that drained the reservoir. There was 6 million gallons of water missing the night of the fire.
Yeah, it makes a
How?
nice salary too. She gets like 400 large a year or something.
No, she gets 750, Billy.
750?
And now she's got a security detail around her.
Well, I mean,
Okay, I know.
yeah, but that's an incredible, and she's the one who drained, she drained the reservoir when they needed water the most. They went and
Hey,
it was
Billy,
empty.
ask yourself a question.
I will.
Who have you heard that said, you know what, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. I'm going to go fix it. Where's the report that said this is how it happened? And we'll make sure it never happens again. We don't even have that yet. So there's zero accountability. And that's what we've got to change in the city.
So, Rick, look, I voted. If I could have stuffed the ballot box for you for mayor, I would have. But because I'm a great citizen, and everyone would say that of not just the country but the city, I only cast one vote. What do you do? To me, everyone I speak to, and I think most people feel like, God, we really screwed that up. But you basically won that because it's such a disaster that you now have a choice to make about politics or just stay in business. I think you are a man who wants to live his life on the second mountain. You have climbed the first mountain, and you have had great success. I think you genuinely want to help people and bring success to others. So I believe a life in politics is coming your way. You're going to go again, and something tells me it's going to be governor of California. I think effectively you already won the mayorship.
Well, I do like giving back to people, and I do like having a higher purpose in life. And I've been very fortunate and blessed in life.
Can you move the governor's mansion back to L.A. so you can stay here? Because we like to have you around. But would you be able to move? Do you have to live in Sacktown is the question.
Well, listen, I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, Billy. So I haven't thought about housing
I've decided for you, Rick. You're going to run. You're going to run, and by the way, you're going to have Rick wears the same shades as Joe Biden. They both go to the same sunglasses guy, but you look absolutely crisp, very tan, perfect in the sunglasses. I think you got to do it. When do you make that decision about a political run? It's right around the corner. You can't wait too long.
Yeah, it's after summer. I've got till after summer, and a lot to think about. But I feel really lucky that I even get to think about it. How about that? And I'm grateful for that. But I want to do something, whatever I do, I want to do something I could truly make a difference. I'm not looking for a career change, and I got an incredible life. And I just want to get back, change the trajectory a bit, give people more opportunity in life, be able to create more jobs, clean up. We've got terrible problems with the homeless and with crime and encampments around our beautiful city and all of that. All of that can be fixed. And that's what frustrates me. And frankly, that's
how do you fix homelessness, Rick? How do you fix it done? How do you fix homelessness? It's just, you can't just I think it's the biggest problem that we face in Los Angeles, and many other cities face this problem too. But you can't just like pick up people and take them to the desert and be like, good luck. You can't. No. I mean, what do? You
build housing. Build housing. I had a plan when I ran for mayor. You've got to build housing. The city of Miami, I was with the mayor of Miami. They are going to be down to 0 homeless in Miami.
Wow.
I just walked around the city of Pittsburgh. I was back there for business last week. Not one encampment that I saw in downtown Pittsburgh. How could that be? And in Los Angeles, it's everywhere. We have had this terrible ideology of housing first. And that what they did is to attack people is if you want to get somebody off the street, they would say, you're criminalizing being homeless. No, you're not. We want to help people get off the streets. We want to give them the services they need for mental health care, for drug addiction. But you've got to have an apartment for them. You've got to have a place for them. We have built no housing in the city of Los Angeles. We've been an absolute failure in that regard, and wasted billions of dollars. So if you want to know how to screw it up, go study the way LA City and LA County has done it. If you want to know how to fix it, there are hundreds of cities around the world that have tackled this problem with great success. Well, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, you know how to build
it. It does require a backbone and a brain that you put to good use.
So if If Kamala, they say Kamala Harris may run for governor. Would you welcome that?
No,
No.
not at all.
Wouldn't you like to run against her?
I don't worry about running against her. It's just, I don't think she's the right person for the state of California, period.
Well,
she could be a good person. I know her. I know her husband. But she's not the leader that the state of California needs by any stretch of the imagination, in my opinion.
there's so much talk right now about what happened this last time around when Joe Biden finally handed the torch to Kamala, and at that point, but so many people. The book comes out, Original Sin, tomorrow, that Jake Tapper from CNN wrote with the guy from Axios, and it's all about accountability. It's all about cover up and things like that. Do you have an opinion on that? Because they really screwed themselves, and they still haven't taken full accountability for that. And you're a man who talks about accountability a lot.
Yeah, listen, I was very vocal about that there should have been an open primary to fill Joe Biden's seat. I was very open that he needed to step down and let the next generation take off. I feel that way about a lot of these elected officials that have been in office way too long. That was never the intent of the framers of our Constitution. It was all about people going in, serving their country, and then going back to their private life. We've created this loop where people never leave the system. But I think what's coming out about Joe Biden isn't surprising anybody. And the people that, frankly knew and were keeping things secret, shame on them, and they should be called out for it.
Rick, you were a Republican, then you were an independent, and then you ran for mayor as a Democrat. Something tells me that, here's what I believe: the two-party system is brutal. I think it's terrible. There needs to be a third, because they compete so much against each other that it completely lost sight of the constituents, the people that matter, because it's about beating the other side. It's gotten so entrenched. It's about power so much that literally the Democratic establishment decided, let's cover up and save the American people from Donald Trump. He's such a disaster. Let's lie to them and say Joe Biden is fine, win the election, and then we can decide, does he step down or whatever. But we must hold on to power because it's really the best thing for the people, which is like the most condescending, disgraceful thing you can, an attitude that's unforgivable. But don't you see, this is what that two-party system creates? Is it time for something different?
What I think you're saying, and first of all, I agree with you, the sense of entitlement is obscene on both parties.
Yeah.
Just obscene. And that's why you see growing numbers of people becoming independent.
Yeah.
And I think what you're going to start seeing more and more of, and I think we're going to see it in Los Angeles, we're going to see it in California, are people saying, I want somebody in the middle who's moderate, who's willing to go to both sides of the aisle, bring people together, and get things done.
Yep.
Because we cannot be slaves to a party platform and completely turn our back on those who we serve. We take a sacred duty, if you're in public office, to serve those people in public and not to serve the party. What happened in the mayor's race when I ran, it was crazy. I mean, I'd go home with the family and we would laugh about it. They would fly out Joe Biden, they'd fly out Kamala Harris, they'd fly out Nancy Pelosi, Bernie, everybody. They were so scared to have an outsider in that tent because they didn't want an outsider to see what was inside that tent.
Yeah.
Because I would have exposed it. And what's inside that tent is basically a circus of keeping everybody going. And I think it's being busted up now that you see all of these truths coming out. And hopefully people are going to say, we're not having it anymore.
I think every party, I think all the primaries should be open too. So it's not just party registrants that get to vote. Absolutely. Because what we do is we get these candidates who are pretty extreme on both sides. And then the middle wakes up and goes, huh? What? Yeah. I'm choosing between those two? Why? Why? Because you weren't allowed in or you didn't come on the states that do have open primaries. That's the problem. Then we get handed a choice and we all have to make a choice for the lesser evil. It's like this needs to stop. It needs to end. It does.
You got a big voice. Hey, listen, man. You know who agrees with me? And actually,
Chris Cuomo was raised a Cuomo. His father was the legendary Governor Mario Cuomo. His brother, Andrew Cuomo, a Democratic family. I was born a Bush. Last name Bush. We have both given up I was a registered Republican for long. I haven't been in 9 years. I'm a registered independent. And guess who else? Maria Shriver. I don't know if I'm outing her, but had a conversation with her. She's like, no, I don't get it on my own party too. So independent-minded, let's say that. Rick, thank you so much for your time. You've got many things to do. I love that office. If that's yours, I'm coming over.
Come on over.
I'm coming over.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Mr. Governor, can't wait. Make that announcement at the end of the summer, and I'll be the first to applaud you.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
Thanks. See you soon, I hope.
Yeah, take care. Thank
care.
you. Oh, the great Rick Caruso. Let me tell you something. That's the kind of person you need in this country. Every city deserves a Rick Caruso. This city can't be so broken and so entrenched that you can't see a brilliant man like that who knows where all the pipes are. He'd lift up, Ross Perot used to say, man, you got to lift up the hood and fix the engine. He lifts up the hood. He knows where every part is in this city. And he's an executive. He can, that's the one. All right. We thank Rick Caruso. Next, No Filter with Zack Peter. Do you love Zack or what? Zack is I'm telling you, before one of these lawyers does anything in the Blake Baldoni thing, he knows about it. He can sniff out anything. We're talking to Zack. The Blake Baldoni Swift triangle is on tap here. It takes new turns. We'll discuss that. And then Hot Mike's Hot Takes. Why Donald Trump called the boss a washed up prune. Is that a nice thing to say? Give me 30 seconds.
Welcome to LA Golf. You guys ready for the tour? We're the only golf company that manufactures its clubs here in the United States. All LA Golf drivers are built right here.
I'm very excited for today's production. It's going to be
4 left.
Anybody hungry?
So does he work here?
Work here? He lives here.
All right, welcome back to Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by LA Golf. We're live on TuneIn and YouTube. Joining us right now, Zack Peters of No Filter with Zack Peters. Zack, how are you, my friend?
I'm feeling, in the words of Blake Lively, very yummy.
Oh, God, that is... Oh, my God. You know what? Speaking of Blake Lively, the latest thing she says, I love this. She's got her company, Blake Brown Beauty, whatever she says. Blake Brown Beauty just launched, she just did this an hour ago or a couple hours ago, just launched hair and body mist. Not because it was our original plan, but because of you. Because our community embraced this community embraced our scents with such enthusiasm, support, and passion. You asked for a standalone fragrance. We listened. That's all we did. We just listened to you. Did you order any yet?
Not yet. I almost ran to Target the second I saw the announcement and stocked up because, when I think of hair care, the first thing I think of is Blake Lively's frizzy split ends.
Zack, the Taylor Swift triangle she's had enough of Blake and Ryan, but what do you make of this? I mean, this is where are you on everything right now?
It's crazy because I was thinking about it this morning and how much Blake has just completely blown up so many people's lives. I mean, think of Brandon Sklenar and Jenny Slate and Anna Kendrick, all of her co-stars that can't walk a red carpet right now without being asked about this movie. Isabella Ferrer, her career has essentially stalled since Doing It Ends With Us. Justin Baldoni and his team, their lives have completely blown up. And now Taylor Swift's dragged into all of it. And she's the godmother to Blake's kids that, to me, throwing away a 10-year friendship when, you guys are so intimately tied together, especially with children involved. To me, it's wild to see the lengths that Blake Lively is going to keep this ruse up.
For people who don't understand the legal wrangling between the lawyers of Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, all that affidavit business from last week, can you succinctly explain that?
Yeah, so Brian Friedman he is accusing Blake Lively of essentially trying to extort Taylor Swift. He's saying that Blake Lively and her attorney were threatening to release 10 years of text messages if Taylor Swift did not come out and explain Blake Lively's absence from the Super Bowl. Obviously, Blake and Taylor go to a lot of games together in support of Travis Kelce. And so they're claiming that they want to subpoena Taylor Swift's attorney's records so that they can prove that Blake Lively and her attorney were witness tampering and trying to spoil evidence.
Isn't that amazing to be like, Blake Lively to say to Taylor Swift, people are going to wonder, why aren't we together at the Super Bowl? I mean, where there's you, there's me. I mean, we're always together. So I need you to put out a statement. I need you to take action on this so people know. Or I'm going to release, text messages from you in the past. Who threatens the mighty Taylor Swift and the Swiftie army? The Swifties are terrifying. Why aren't they attacking Blake more, I wonder? Are they?
They're starting to. I think they're waiting for Taylor to say something, but I also think Taylor's silence is speaking volumes right now. Like Taylor Swift can easily kibosh the whole thing and say, no, it's not true. We saw her issue a statement, or her rep issued a statement, or at least I want to say maybe 2 statements over the last couple of weeks, distancing herself from the movie, but she hasn't necessarily aligned herself with Blake Lively. And so I think her silence right now after that allegation came out from Brian Friedman, I think speaks volumes to the fact that she wants nothing to do with Blake Lively, which I think tells us everything we need to know about Blake's credibility right now.
I think that Taylor Swift she's so mad about this because she quietly wanted to go away to have a baby and get married with Travis Kelce. It's time for her. This is her time to be laying low, and she can't stand the overhead noise, I bet.
Well, and I hear that the Swifties are speculating that that she's going to announce her new album soon. Some people are thinking it's going to be called Karma. I've been trying to keep up on all the Swiftie news, but so people are saying that there's a big announcement that Taylor's supposed to be releasing soon, whether that's, Reputation, Taylor's version, or it's going to be a new album that she's releasing. That's likely to come, which I would imagine is why she wants to lay low, so that this announcement can kind of be big and not overshadowed by Blake Lively's legal drama.
Let me ask you, Zach, is it possible that there's basically like the Blake Baldoni situation? Is this going to be fought all the way until the trial in March 2026, which is, there's just no way there can be this much news and information and flow that happens from now. It's never ending. Does it continue? And so, because what will be left for the court? It's being tried in real time.
That's the craziest part. And just when I think the story is kind of dying down, we have another, but I could have never predicted that this Taylor Swift bombshell would have come last week. So will we make it to trial? At this point, it looks like Blake's going all the way, and she's acting unbothered. She's selling her hair mist and walking down the streets of New York where the paparazzi happened to catch her, going to Anna Wintour's house. So she seems completely unbothered right now, and she seems
and lunch
confident.
With Salma Hayek. I mean, how she got Hayek to go have lunch? That's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on or how she's even getting people to still.
I think Salma sees the news.
No, I mean, or she probably agreed to go and meet somebody else that Blake happened to crash in on. It's a lot of backdoor favors with publicists that are, shaking each other's hands. And the next thing you know, Blake's finding a way to squeeze into these things. And suddenly the paparazzi also happen to be there.
It's just got this point of no return quality to it. I mean, she's got herself so dug in, and everyone is gone. Jenny Slate is 10 feet underground. Brandon Sklenar is in a bunker somewhere, just waiting to come up when it's time to be Batman or whatever. It's like, and Isabel and Colleen Hoover, the little author who wrote It Ends With Us. I mean, she is nowhere to be found. Everyone is hiding, waiting for their lives back. And until Blake, she keeps going, they're not going to get it back because soon as we see you, we want to know. We want an answer.
They have to be livid about this because, like you said, they all kind of have to lay low right now. They can't come out in the public, but yet she's so overexposed right now, walking on every red carpet that will allow her. That if I were her, or if I were one of them and I were seeing her do all of this, I would be so upset that my career was stalled and she was just living life and acting unbothered.
Zach, you're all over it. No Filter with Zack Peter. Zach does a great job, and if you don't follow Zach, you got to, because I'm telling you, as it happens, he knows about it. Zach, thank you so much.
Thank you, Billy.
Appreciate it, buddy. Okay, time for hot mics, hot takes. For that, Rob Silverstein is here. Where do we begin, Rob?
Well, Bill, Zach's taking a show on the road too.
Huh?
Zach's taking a show on the road.
He is?
He's got like a road show. He's going around the country. This guy, Zach. We got a big guy on our show.
Is he coming to Encino, California? Because if he is, I'm going to pop right down
we'll
the hill.
Bring him right in there.
Have a
Bill,
cocktail.
you guys were talking about Taylor Swift, and the Don, for some reason, got in on the action, posting this. Has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, she's no longer hot?
Does that mean hot like the career is hot, or hot like she's sexy?
I think it's hot about the career.
I think it's hot about the career, but you can't be like, but that's like Paris Hilton speaks that way.
Right.
The president doesn't say her career's not hot. I think he meant hot.
You think
like
so?
She got uglier since she messed with me.
Yeah, that could be.
I don't think that's the case. She's a beautiful.
But it's like, but he just throws Taylor Swift's name out there. But he wasn't done. Okay. Bruce Springsteen has upset him. All right. Springsteen went to Europe. He denounced the Trump administration, called it corrupt, incompetent, treasonous.
How did Trump take this?
He called
not well.
Well, what do you think? This dried out prune of a rocker, his skin is all atrophied, or to keep his mouth shut until he gets back in the country. That's just standard fare. Then we'll all see how it goes for him. Bill, do you think the boss...
Wait, can we first give Trump a little bit of credit for his ability to troll? He says dried out prune of a... I mean, that's just... He knows where the nerve endings are, and he just plucks them.
I know, but if we put them side by side, who looks better? The boss looks better than the Don.
I don't know.
The Don is orange.
Forever
so we don't really,
blonde.
We don't really don't know.
Blondes have more
But
fun.
the born in the USA guy is born in the USA. Do you think he'll have this type of verbiage when he has concerts in the United States? Do you think he's going to go after the president, or he saved that for Europe just to get the Europeans to know what he feels, what's going on?
I think he's signaling to the Europeans, we love you. Don't give up on us. We've got 3.5 more years, and we will be back, and we will restore our relationship, is what he's saying.
You think it's good that he did it? I was with Ron-O this weekend.
I think it's his right to do it, but if I'm his fan, I'm like, please don't do it that long.
Do you think he'll be
I want you
booed?
to get to Born in the USA as soon as you can, because I'm here with my lady, and we're having a nice time.
Do you think he'd be booed in the United States by some people?
Yeah.
Right. That's probably maybe
I
why he
think
would
their
do it.
MAGA land likes their Bruce, but they don't like him speaking politically. I don't think he does it when he comes here. Does it stop MAGA from buying tickets to see Bruce? I think so. They're so loyal. It's unbelievable.
I've never seen anything like it. They'll turn against him.
Yeah.
Right. The Don, they'll never turn against the Don.
That's why I like to always remind MAGA. I like to have fun with the Don. Nobody knows the Don more than me.
Nobody.
In fact, you wouldn't have the Don. If there were 50 people who elevated the Don to a level where you would be able to see him and understand him as the Don. I'm in there somewhere with Jeff Zucker of NBC and other people. I was the entertainment guy for Access. I had him on 5 nights a week.
No question about it.
And by the way, no more entertaining a reality television star or celebrity ever than
Bill,
Donald Trump.
Is he the funniest president of all time?
Yes.
Is there anybody close? Has any
George
president
W.
been
is
fun-
George
George
W. is
had a
very
great
funny.
line, but
And by the way, great with nicknames. But he called the really tall reporter from the New York Times, called him Stretch, and he would go, "All right, Stretch, you're next." All right, and he had nicknames for everybody in the press
funny.
corps, and it was very funny. Trump has a meanness to his humor, but it's so accurate and so plucking of that nerve, is the way I put it, that I can't help but howl, as
all
you
right,
know.
Bill, let's go to Tom Cruise. He's 62 years old. As we discussed last week, he's the biggest movie star in the world by far. But he tells the Hollywood Reporter he plans to work many, many, many years. Roll it.
What else is he going to do?
Roll it.
You said a couple of years ago that you would keep making Mission Impossible movies into your 80s. Is that still true?
I actually said I'm going to make movies into my 80s. I don't know what. Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe movies. Actually, I'm going to make them into my hundreds. I will never stop.
Listen,
I will never stop doing action. I will never stop doing drama, comedy, films.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Absolutely. Well, we will.
All I can say to Tom Cruise is, well, look, if Al Pacino can make, movies at a regular clip, and Robert De Niro, who just wants to get out of the house because he is a 2-year-old, then of course Tom Cruise will continue. He's no one. This is in his blood. This is what he does. Just get around to making the Les Grossman movie. We all want to see Les Grossman.
Right. But he also takes care of himself a lot better than most of these people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see him being a big drinker. I don't see him being a big partier. He's very disciplined. He's in incredible physical shape. So I think he has a chance of actually getting to 100. Don't you think?
Yeah, he needs a haircut. I don't like all that hair covering the ears on the sides. I don't like the sides. It's like a tweener right now, and I like him shorter hair.
Bill, we've met up with Kevin Spacey at the Olympics. I believe it was in England, in London. We saw him walking. You and I did. He gave you a big hello, gave you a big hug. He's always been incredibly kind to us and thoughtful. And he's a great actor. And he's had his problem, but now he's getting a Lifetime Achievement Awards at the Cannes Film Festival by the Better World Fund. He'll be recognized for his decades of artistic brilliance. The charity invited him because he's being cleared by the courts. Bill, is it good that he's getting another chance, despite all what he went through? 9 cases of alleged sexual offenses in Britain. Now, they got dismissed, but there's smoke, there's fire.
I will say this. He needs a Lifetime Achievement Award somewhere on U.S. territory or anywhere out of France. In France, in Cannes especially, they honor Roman Polanski, who has been living on the lam ever since he allegedly raped a young girl. Woody Allen is a man of questionable character to some. He celebrated routinely in Cannes. They love it. They don't care about this kind of thing over there at all. They think we're all leches underneath it all. So I like that for him in Cannes, and it's a nice step. When it happens on U.S. soil, that's going to be a great moment in his life.
All right, one more, Bill.
Did I handle that well? I think I did.
Yes. Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. What's her nickname? Ice Barbie. Okay. Now, I don't really know if this is, they may have pushed back again about this today, but still, there's an actual reality show pitting immigrants against each other for the honor of fast-tracking their way into being citizens. That's according to Rob Warsoff, a writer and producer who did Duck Dynasty. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I think they're taking it seriously. I feel good about it. I'm not the Department of Homeland Security, so I can't tell you the whirlwind of the last 24 to 48 hours since my pitch document was leaked to somebody in the press. I don't know where they stand exactly now, but I feel like we're trending in a good way. And I have interest from networks. I have interest from production companies to pair with, and I feel good about it.
Listen, if anyone leaked it, it might have been him. I mean, by the way, what a great way to find, instead of setting pitch meetings at all these networks and cable networks, and there's so many of them, and you got to do the same thing over and over again, leak the idea. And if anyone bites, you've just saved yourself an enormous amount of time. Go meet with them alone, because most people can think it's ridiculous. That said, we all say, most people say with immigration, we don't just let the doors open and let everybody come in, but let's take the best people, start with them.
That's right.
And if you got a competition on TV that shows these incredibly brilliant people that want to come live in America,
I think what has happened,
not a terrible idea,
is the criticism of the idea swelled up, and I think the Homeland Security people have separated them from this today.
Listen, of all the reality shows, this one's okay. MILF Mansion or whatever that is. There's something called like MILF Mansion, where guys are in a house with like a woman or her mom, and you get to choose, or something like that. They get the much older woman or the.
You know what's interesting? In that full interview that I watched with him, he talked about The Biggest Loser. He was a story producer on The Biggest Loser, and everyone in the original, what a terrible idea! You're exploiting, overweight people and all this kind of stuff, and it was a terrible thing.
I remember that.
And then it became a great show, and it was inspirational and things of that nature.
It was a catchy title that got all of our attention. I remember being like, oh my God, people are upset. You can't call these people losers. They're really fat, and they're having a hard time. Biggest Loser of weight.
Yes.
Wait till we air. And next thing you know, it's like, oh my God.
I thought it was a terrific show. Made Jillian Michaels a star, but I forgot who was the trainer, the male trainer.
Bob. Bob Harper.
He had a massive heart attack. He almost died, but thankfully he was in great shape, and they saved him immediately.
That's why I say some people can smoke till they're 95 years old. You know, it's like it's in the genes. You know, I'm not telling you.
My grandmother, Mrs. S, she smoked Camels, no filters.
Look at the tan on Rob's face. You remember Magda from There's Something About Mary? So that's what your grandmother probably looked at, like you, but wrinklier with.
I thought you were going to mention something to our tan friend earlier today. Mr. Caruso.
Mr. Caruso.
We could have a tan off, him and I.
Rick Caruso was our guest today, and I hope he becomes the governor of California if he runs. Yeah. Because you know what? That question at the end that I gave him about the party system, the two-party system, he's really an independent-minded guy.
No question.
And I think America is ready for radical centrism. You know what I mean? I don't align with any party. I mean, Republicans, I don't know. Who cares? Democrat. Give me the right person. And don't be there too long. Come in, serve the public, get it done, and get the hell out. It's not a career.
You always said it's about one thing, service.
Service.
Right. It's in the career. Service.
My God. All right,
Bill, we're done.
That's it for us, okay? We're back on Wednesday. Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by LA Golf. Today and every day, take your swing to the next level. With LA Golf's cutting-edge technology, you can visit lagolf.com and upgrade your game. Or to put it simply, keep your damn ball in the fairway. All right? So you can hit it a second time. Don't make it miserable. Huh? Bryson had a chance this past weekend. He is Mr. LA Golf. Check out it, lagolf.com. See you Wednesday.